Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's John Hiley right here with the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. I'm sitting here with your co-host, Miss Angela Hiley.
Yes.
How y'all doing today?
I'm doing pretty peachy.
Are you doing pretty peachy?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
All right, y'all. So, anyhow, we are
A day late.
but we're not $1 short because we've been making it rain.
Making it rain. Holla.
Yo, kind of interesting. This was one of my very first opportunities to do a little bit of local targeting with some Facebook ads when it came to the hail repair in our area.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool because I was actually able to, I knew where it hit. I knew the areas that I wanted to be in. I knew the areas that I did not want to be in. And I was able to run ads to that crowd. And I'll tell you guys, we are getting results from it.
Our UPS driver the other day.
Oh, yeah, the UPS driver. He's like, I seen you on Facebook.
You were in my feed.
He goes, I liked it.
Great guy.
So, all this stuff, we talk about with the Facebook ads and stuff like that. But I will tell you guys, I had another gentleman, and this is going to be kind of the way I'm going to start the podcast, but we're going to talk a little bit about significance-driven versus somebody who's purpose-driven. But to start it off, I'll tell you guys, I had another individual who, he kind of asked me, he's a hail chaser, and he asked me a little bit about the Facebook thing. And, it was, he was kind of, asking me, well, do I think it'd be worth it for him to run a Facebook ad and stuff like that? And I really had to think about that because what I've been hearing from people who have seen our Facebook ads is what they will do is they'll typically look at our Facebook ad, and then they'll go into Facebook, and then they'll read our reviews. Mm-hmm. And then they'll look us up, they'll do a little bit of research on us. And it's been profitable for us just because of that, because we have a big backstory. We got a footprint in our market already. We've got something, and that just leads me to think it's like, that just depends, man, because it's not about just running an ad. That's not what gets people interested. I mean, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. Mm-hmm. It's about a marketing strategy. It's about what's behind the ad. What are the people going to do when they look at the ad? Where are they going to click? Where are they going to go? How are they going to research your company? And when they go to research your company, what are they going to find out? What are they going to see? What location are they being asked to come to? Okay? Because a lot of this stuff breaks down to phone calls. A lot of this stuff breaks down to leads, which then you have to convert them leads into sales. And, so it goes a lot deeper. I mean, I just want you guys to remember that. Like when you guys are out there, and you hear anybody say, well, run a Facebook ad or do a Google ad or, run something on Google AdWords, that's very, very a shallow way of looking at it. Marketing is much deeper. It's looking at, okay, so yeah, they found me on Facebook, right? Yeah. I wrote a compelling ad. They clicked on it. Did my website or, and I'll tell you guys specifically, I created my own hail damage landing page, a funnel, specifically designed to be very, very easy for them to contact me. And it was congruent with my ad. So like the landing page looked like my ad. There's a lot of tiny little things, like small things that you got to do because it's proven that when people click on an ad, if the landing page they go to isn't congruent, even color theme wise, with the ad they clicked on, they feel like they've been shammed a little bit.
Yeah.
They feel like they've been taken to a place where they don't really want to go, and the click-through rate is not as high. Mm-hmm. And definitely they're much less likely to do a call to action, which means, fill out a form or give you a phone call or whatever you got as the call to action. Put in an email address, whatever that call to action specifically is, okay? But then you got the next phase where you got to land them. You know what I mean? Like, you got their contact information, you know they need help, and then you've actually got to take that lead and convert it into a sale. So keep that in mind, guys, because it's just not as easy now. If I was a guy who was traveling around the country and setting up storms, I would market it 100% different than what I'm doing as a local dent removal technician and body shop.
Yeah.
100% different. I would be rethinking the entire strategy. So keep that in mind. It's not just about can it be done. It's about how is it being done.
I thought you were
right?
getting ready to say, like, can you do it?
Can you? No more Harry Bush nuns. Any of you Jay and Silent Bob fans will know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So, that being said, guys, we're talking a little bit about, significant driven versus purpose driven or relationship driven. What should be the driver in your business? And I would say if it's money, if it's specifically just money, you're probably going to get burned out at one point. And I know that because that happened to me before. I mean, I think when we all start out in business, we're really driven by one thing, and that's money.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you kind of figure out that money's like a cat. If you try to chase it like that, it just runs away from you. You almost got to sit back and let it kind of come to you, but not necessarily sit back, but like I said, if it's like a cat, you try to chase it like that aggressively, it'll run away, it'll get away from you, and it eventually disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not really thinking about the client and customer. You're not putting their experience, their priority. You're not putting what service you're providing for somebody else first and foremost.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the money first, right?
Yeah.
I knew somebody like that. I knew a glass guy who was like that. And this glass guy, literally, he would tell me, like, no matter what was it? He said, no matter what type of
He's talking about
job,
Harold.
no matter what type of job he did, or whether the client and customer was happy, whatever, he was gonna get his money because he's getting paid for his time, his labor. He kind of sounded like the guy I opened up the podcast with too. Actually, he sounded a lot like him.
Yeah.
But it's like the bottom line is, the moment that you only become significant driven, meaning that you focus on yourself more than creating a solution for other people, that's when your business is it's a short term.
Yeah, being very self-absorbed.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a quick fix type thing.
I can so pinpoint out those individuals that are so self-absorbed, and I'm staying away from you.
I kind of at one of the and you can see this. Okay, so I mean, many of you guys know that I spoke at Dayton Social Media last year, and some of the speakers, you could tell the difference between an individual who was very significant driven, and another person that was very, very relationship driven, or they were purpose driven, which is really the ultimate thing.
Yeah,
is when you begin to live a purpose driven life. Is much stronger. It's more long lasting. It's like if you're significant driven, you might have customers. If you're purpose driven, you're going to have clients. It's a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
You focus a lot on the other person. You focus a lot on fulfillment. You focus a lot on the experience. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you focus on bringing value to that individual's life.
Brian Fanzo was like...
Sure, we've had Brian on our podcast if you look back.
Yeah, and he's got his own podcast, too.
People might not know this.
But he's he's a good dude.
He's a good guy.
Good guy.
Very, very purpose-driven. And on top of that, I've actually met him at that event. So he was one of the head speakers at that event. But above and beyond that, he's been on stage with Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, the dude he stood on stage and spoke with some of the best. I mean, that's his full-time job. This guy does nothing but travels and speaks all over the world all the time.
But he's super down to earth. It's like you meet him and he's like this friend that you always knew. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you guys just kind of pick up where you left off, and you're just kicking it with one another.
Well, yeah, and not to mention, I mean, what Brian and Amy Landino, I think I may have that wrong, they launched a podcast together, and it ended up getting on the front of iTunes in the recommended business section.
Ooh.
And now it's massive. It's blowing up for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done plenty of podcasts. This is the first one he's ever got on iTunes. That's the holy grail right there, is when you actually get on iTunes suggested list. Basically meaning that when people click on the homepage of iTunes, they can swipe through the suggested business podcast.
Yeah.
And they're on there. And what's the name of the podcast again?
I don't know right offhand.
You don't know right away.
You can follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, follow him on Instagram. I will figure out the name of that podcast. I should have it on here. I know that I subscribe to it.
Get your phone.
I'm
out
so
of your
damn
pocket.
bad at listening. You know what I mean? Like I'm horrible at following and listening to
Yeah, Brian's a cool dude.
other people, but yeah, he's a great guy. But they have such a compelling name on that podcast too, and I can't believe I totally forgot it. Let me see. Oh, it's called Just Try This with Just Try This podcast with Brian Fanzo and Amy Landino. So
Landino.
she's actually a Columbus lady, but she's really popular on YouTube. Very, very high end, polished videos, stuff like that too.
Landino.
Yeah.
I like her last name.
But the interesting thing was, I'll go back to that, and I'm not talking about Brian or Amy, but there was clearly certain speakers at that event was very, very big headed, and they were really, you could tell they were significant driven. They were driven by, and most of the time, people who are significant driven really don't have the significance that they think they do. So they're living like really, they're living really, really high and mighty in their own head. And it's for me,
and they're really not.
Yeah, it actually makes her skin crawl. But for me, I just kind of look at it like, wow, you know. I'm just like,
what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, but I'm just looking at it like, if you really understood that what you're trying to achieve is unachievable, being significance driven. You know, it's driven by the value that you bring to the market, the value you bring to people. It's driven by the value that you bring to the world.
Those are the people that you're not really going to vibe very well with, and you're not going to be able to have like a good and enjoyable time.
Right. Well, and not to mention, to be honest with you, it's a poor way to live because, you know, the ultimate thing is, you know, I'll go back to this. I read a book with the Dalai Lama and Pastor Tutu.
Pastor Tutu.
And it was called the Book of Joy is what it was called. And you can check it out on Audible. But they really broke it down to where people find joy is when you step outside of yourself and you focus on solving problems for other people. Mm-hmm. And you know what I love about that? That is business in a nutshell. Yeah. Okay? Because being that I just love, I'm like a serial entrepreneur. I've been literally like diving into and just indulging in the last couple weeks, systemizing companies and putting systems together that work for you. I'm just like, right now, it's like everything.
He's on a whole different level.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff that like day by day that I'm doing and figuring out. But I'm just having a lot of fun with it, and that's why I know that I love it because I just fall into it. Right, I'm a serial entrepreneur, in and out. But you know, the interesting thing is like that's what I love about business because you have to solve a major problem to come up with a freaking amazing product. Mm-hmm. So it's like. It makes me think like, what can I do to change the world? What can I do to solve a shitload of problems, right? And it just, to me, it's fun, it's creative, and it's honestly like, it's almost like playing the lottery, but you're much more guaranteed to win. Ooh. And rather than just standing in line waiting for a fucking ticket, I don't play the lottery. I hate that shit. But rather than just standing in line playing for a fucking ticket, you're actually going out and doing something and fulfilling a dream or making shit happen in your own life.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just holding on to the dream. And the reason why, I'll tell you guys, a long time ago, I came to the conclusion that I will never play the lottery. And one of the reasons why.
I can't even remember.
I don't. I won't play it. Not even when it gets to gazillions. I don't give a fuck.
Remember you actually buying a lottery ticket or anything like
People
that.
come in here and they're like, the lottery's up to... And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You know why? Because I have heard so many people, you know, I grew up in, I'd say a poor neighborhood, not a super poor, but, you know, mid to low level, you know, neighborhood.
Yeah.
And there were literally people around me that were addicted to scratch-offs. And I mean, you know, I've seen this shit.
Scratch-offs, I think they're kind of fun.
I've seen this shit my entire life where people would come in and they were just so excited they played the lottery. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are getting the same excitement that if they actually achieve something with their life, but it's about to be short-lived when they sit there and watch the TV and realize they fucking lost again.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, this is replacing the feeling that you're supposed to get by actually doing something. And I've heard so many people say, well, I'm never going to be a millionaire, but I play the lottery.
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of attitude is that? You know, I want to bring something to the world that's so important that the more money I make amplifies it and it satisfies me, because now my message or whatever I'm bringing to the world to solve whatever problem it is being amplified by that money that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's the thing. Other people, they the weirdest fucking this. I've talked about this. People's dumbass fucking retarded relationship with money, where they think money's bad, but yet the next moment they've got to have it. And you know, dude, if you think money's fucking bad, then don't fucking take money. How about that? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a imagine like and I think Jen Sincero would.
That one book that we listened to was what was it?
She said that people are fucking bipolar with money.
No,
think if money was like
true. But what's the name of that book?
You Are a Badass.
No, she said you are a badass at making money. Yeah,
which is a great book as well.
Which is a very
good book. Honestly, I like all of her work. It's really, really good.
If you haven't listened to it, listen to it.
Yeah, for real.
Get on it.
And like, you know, but honestly, if like money was for some people was like a let's just say for a man it was a girlfriend, but you were one of them men that think that, you know, money's the root of all evil, but yet, you know, you need it all the time, or money's the root of all evil, but then you die. That'd be like living with a girlfriend where you're like, you're the root of all evil, but let's have sex. You know,
well,
I need you now. No, I don't need you. I want you to go away because you're driving me crazy. Oh, you're ruining the world, but I love you because I need to eat.
No, but people always are like, oh, you know, like having a man or something. It's like, oh shit, did I just go out of my brain?
You brain farted.
Something.
Well, I hate it.
You can't live without him. Wait a minute. You can't live with him and you can't live without him.
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
Right. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's like people are straight up fucking bipolar with it. Just realize that if, you know, money is nothing but your labor, whatever you're doing in this world, whether it's mental, physical, whatever you're doing, it's a reward certificate that creates energy that amplifies who you are.
And we all deserve it. We all deserve lots and lots and lots of money.
Not everybody doesn't deserve it. But
who doesn't deserve it?
People who aren't willing to go make it.
Oh, no, but I'm talking about to the people that are wanting to go out there and make it.
Right. And people got to understand that you only deserve how much you decide to go in. You know, I'll give you guys a quick example. I'll give you guys a story, right? There's a guy who I know who's a big time marketer, and he makes a shit ton of money, like a shitload of money. And he's got a lot of doctors and stuff like that are friends of his. And it becomes very, very apparent. And this guy never graduated from college. This guy never, you know, he's definitely, he admittedly says all of his doctor friends, he's way less intelligent than them.
Yeah.
You know, he says, man, these guys are smart. They're doctors. Of course you want them to be smart, right?
Yeah.
But he says it's very apparent when they come around that he's got way, way more money than them, right?
Yeah.
He chose a different vehicle.
Yeah.
He chose a vehicle that can make him and amplify him and give him more energy.
Yeah.
You know, the bottom line is with a doctor's practice, unless you're willing to grow and scale it and hire more doctors and create a system, you're really just going to be working for what your hands can make you.
Yeah.
Now, on his side of the story, totally different. The dude owns software. The dude owns, you know, all of these educational, all of this stuff where it doesn't matter. He can make it one time and sell it millions of times.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to understand that as well. I mean, people choose their own lot. People choose if they go into something where you can make a ton of money. You know, I used to think the paintless dent removal industry was, you know, a ton of money. But the problem I started having with it is that it's hard to scale. I had to make a choice. Do I really want to scale this industry, or do I want to scale other things?
Yeah.
You know? And I trust me. I mean, I'm out here working. I got 3 hail cars sitting out here right now.
Cracking that whip on.
2 of them that just got approved, and I'm going to be fixing them. Don't get me wrong. I'm out here working, but I'm always working on ideas to grow and make other things happen.
Yep.
You know, if I didn't have ideas like in the software space or in the you know, the educational space or in any of these spaces, I would be probably investing in some sort of real estate or something like that.
Yeah. Something
that could grow over time and create wealth in my life. Because I know one day, I mean, you know, and this is a warning for everybody out there. I mean, if you guys aren't saving, if you guys aren't creating other streams of income, you know, the dent removal business, guys, it really is. It's a great business. You can make a lot of money one-on-one with that business, but it is a treadmill business, okay? Unless you scale it, unless you hire employees, unless you have a business plan to grow, unless you become like Dave Haxton, who owns DentSmart, you know, and who has a big operation.
Mm-hmm.
You literally, if you stop working, you stop making money, okay? So, you know, it's something for all you guys to think about there. I mean, what plans do you have to do? I mean, because, you know, like, again.
Like, what are you really passionate about?
Yeah. But again, if you think about it, we have a great opportunity in this industry to make a ton of money using our hands.
Mm-hmm.
And we have enough time, certain times, where you can make a certain amount of money doing this, but you can also take some time to invest in your future, to save for your future, to do things for your future. So,
and
you
something
know,
that you're passionate about.
I believe that if you're passionate about it, you literally you can become the best in the world at it.
Yeah. Like, I look at you and, like, I know you're passionate about doing your dent repair and stuff like that, but I know there's other things that you're more passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm passionate about creating value in other people's lives, you know?
That's true, Big Daddy.
So, I mean, that's ultimately, and then, you know, I just find that the more value you can build in other people's lives.
Yeah.
And the more value that you can create, you know, for other people, you'll create, it's very valuable for yourself. You tend to start living your life by different standards. You tend to start doing things differently. You know, it's
raising the bar.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, when you step outside of yourself and you help other people, you're really helping yourself at the same time.
Mm-hmm. That's a wonderful feeling too.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, I mean, that's just what we wanted to drop to you guys today. We want to talk a little bit about, you know, purpose driven versus significant driven.
But we also have to have a little fun, a little extra fun.
Right.
So, what's that one show that we have a tendency of watching over and over again? Is that Eastbound and Down or something? Or
Eastbound and Down.
Yeah. So, John, and I'm going to make him do this because everybody's going to die laughing.
How many of you guys have watched Eastbound and Down?
I'm sure a bunch of them.
Uh-huh.
But there's this guy on there named Stevie.
Stevie Janowski?
Oh my God. John actually makes that character funnier than what he is on that actual show. And John, what he'll do is, like, when he calls our son, he'll call Jonathan Kenny. And, oh, you have to do it.
Any of you guys who have watched Eastbound and Down, it's about Kenny Powers, who is basically a baseball player that's past his time.
Yeah.
And ends up back in his hometown living with his brother.
Yeah.
And dude is just a dick to everybody. And he ends up getting a job as a gym teacher at his old high school where he meets his old love, his ex-love.
Yeah.
And he runs into this guy that becomes a big part of the show, and his name is Kenny Janowski. And the very first moment he runs into him,
Stevie.
Oh, Stevie, yeah.
Yeah.
So Stevie Janowski, and the very first time they run into him is his first day back at school working as a gym teacher, and he goes to sit down at the table with the principal and the teacher and, you know, a couple other teachers and the lady he's still in love with and all this, and then Stevie Janowski's sitting there as well.
Yeah.
And he just becomes a huge part of the movie. If you guys haven't watched Eastbound and Down, go binge watch it. It is just a hilarious series.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the funniest series that I've ever watched. But he sits down at the table and Stevie Janowski looks at him and goes, "Kenny, this is Stevie Janowski. You know, from band?" And that's exactly the way he sounds. Well, I have a gift of, like, amplifying people's voices. You know, trying to
Give him some more.
No, that's all I'm gonna give.
John,
That's all I'm gonna give there.
on.
You guys have to go watch it. You guys have to check it out. Check out Eastbound and Down. Stevie Janowski.
That is so wrong.
And
John will go into a whole skit, and I am like dying laughing.
I leave it on my son's voicemails.
Yes, and it's
usually.
hilarious. And Jonathan's just like, "Oh, Dad, no," just shaking his head.
So anyhow, guys, another thing I'm getting ready to do. We're getting ready to go live as soon as we get off of this, and I'm going to be showing off the brand new Power Box, which I've got to take photos over this weekend because we're building the Power PDR website and we're building the e-commerce. And they were trying to get photos of it, but apparently the photos came back, they were shitty. So I'm going to try my best to at least get some decent photos on there.
You took Jonathan's prom pictures, and they turned out awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to do my best to create some decent photos that are going to go on the website. And, God, I want to say they probably get a couple pallets.
No, Stevie.
No more. Because people who don't watch it, people who had never watched it, you guys got to go watch it.
Yeah, but I bet you a lot of them have.
So-
And they're probably like, oh, I want to get more Stevie.
I don't
Stevie.
know.
Stevie.
Maybe I should do a whole podcast of Stevie sometime.
Oh, my God. That would be hilarious.
So that being said, guys, the new Power PDR box is smaller, man, and it's 10 pounds lighter. So you guys, I don't know if you guys got a Power PDR box, but they must kind of like a lot to lug around.
Yeah.
You know, and this one's came in smaller. I have not opened it yet because I'm getting ready to do a box opening, but I've been given all the details by Dwayne, and we're going to be launching the website. I don't know when, so that's something we're going to be doing over this weekend. We're going to be at least getting all of our ducks in a row, but I want to say the website will probably be launching sometime next week.
Yeah.
So, and that's for the brand new Power PDR, and you guys might see some of the Dent Killer t-shirts out there. They sell them. They got them available. They're badass.
Yes, they're actually my favorite T-shirt on John.
Yeah.
It like grabs his arms and his pecs and just really makes the midsection look really nice too.
Really gets it going.
I don't know what they do with them T-shirts, how they, but they look really good on John.
All right, y'all. So anyhow, we appreciate you for coming along this tactical podcast. We're a day late, but we came in strong. We'll see you on the next one.
Yes, we did. And remember, it's all about the motherfucking hustle.
Pew, pew.
Bang, bang.